Hello and welcome back to GP Video Podcast by Nadia. So today I am going to share a very interesting article with you, and I would like to read that article with you because this is very, very interesting. The title of the article is "On Second Thought, Statins Work. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise." What are statins? Statins are the major group of cholesterol lowering medications. They are the main group. There has been a lot of discussion about whether do they work or not, or whether they have got more side effects than benefits. They have got like more risks than benefits. But this is all a bit of misnomer. Not a bit of misnomer, but most of it is misnomer. And I have been advocating about statins in all majority of my video podcasts whenever I talk about cholesterol and heart health and obesity and all that kind of stuff. But this one is really a very nice article written by Mr. Christopher Lebos, MD, CM, MSc. So let's just read it together. Okay, everyone, get ready. We are going to have a fight about statins again. If you are the type of person who likes fighting about whether Betamax was better than VHS, you are going to love this. This is On Second Thought. We love arguing about cholesterol. It's all some people live for. In fact, so much so that some of the anti-cholesterol crowd have also become anti-vaxxers because, I guess, in for a penny, in for a pound. This is not new though, and people have been pushing an anti-cholesterol message for years. The problem with trying to talk rationally about cholesterol is that this debate has been going on for decades. I have a much longer written piece about the cholesterol debate on Medscape, so you can go check that out. But basically, the cholesterol skeptics were not really wrong in the 1960s, 70s, and 80s. The diet studies and the epidemiological studies were suggestive, but they were hardly definitive. And had you been there, you probably would have said the same thing. Plus, the drugs that we had to treat cholesterol, like cholestyramine, aren't usually used today because, frankly, they were not for it. So the Atlantic cover was not really wrong. Diets are hard and most of them are unsustainable for long periods of time because people are human and not cybernetic androids. And the medications were terrible. But then the statin era began, and the publication of the 4S trial really showed impressive cardiovascular benefits. That should have ended the cholesterol debate, except it didn't. That's partially because people don't like to change their minds, and partially because people became so entrenched in their positions during the 70s and 80s that people couldn't forget the vitriol that had been lobbed against them. And some people just didn't keep up with the data. Before we get to the main point, statins do reduce major cardiovascular events. They do reduce mortality. They have been studied in women, they have been studied in older populations, and a lot of side effects of statin, especially the myalgias are the muscular pain, are the result of the nocebo effect. Nocebo effect, remember I have discussed with you guys, that nocebo effect means that the more you read about the side effects of a medication, the more you experience them, not because those side effects are happening in real, but because you are feeling them or it's a psychological effect. The other thing that really bugs me is that statins aren't the only medications for cholesterol out there anymore. In the 1990s, it was only statins or nothing else. But that's not really true anymore. I'll acknowledge ezetimibe is not the most potent thing, and it's a big ask for somebody to inject themselves regularly with the injection form of the cholesterol medication because people don't like needles. I mean, we learned that during COVID-19, didn't we? I am not delusional. We are not going to start first-line therapy with the more expensive injectable medications when cheaper oral medications exist. But we can at least agree that it's a bit silly to keep arguing over statins when the issue should be about lowering cholesterol. Because that is the point. The cardiovascular benefit depends entirely on how much you lower your cholesterol. Whether you do it with fibrates, which is fenofibrate, or niacin, or statins, or the injectables. The mechanism doesn't matter. It's the final cholesterol result that makes the difference. Granted, you don't get much bang for your buck with fibrates or niacin. So fenofibrate was supposed to be or considered to be one of the potent anti-cholesterol medications, but there is not much data on that anymore. The point is lower cholesterol. It doesn't really matter how you do it. So why are people still arguing about statins? It's come up again because of the new Prevent Risk Calculator. If you're in primary care, it probably is a bit confusing that we keep switching from one criteria to the other. Let's that aside for now. Yes, people argue about whether they overestimate or underestimate risk in some populations, but predicting the future is hard, which is why I've never won the lottery and have to keep making these videos to buy groceries. This is the author talking about himself. However, you do need a way to identify low, medium, and high risk individuals. I don't think anybody really wants to pick a fight with me about treating high risk participants. It's the low risk populations that get everybody all hot and bothered. So do we treat them? Here is the two issues. So it then just keeps on talking about whether what should be doing, and whether we should be treating the low risk population or not. I will in my next podcast share the rest of it. But basically the point is that lowering cholesterol does reduce cardiovascular events, does reduce the risks of cardiovascular events, does reduce mortality. Mortality means the rate of death. And statins do play a major role. They are the most important lipid lowering medications present at this stage in our in our pharmaceutical world, and most of their side effects are usually associated with nocebo effect, the one that I've already described. So statins are the way to lower the cholesterol at this stage, and we should be making the most of them.